Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Kiesling.
And I'm Kendra Cook. The Southwest TV Translator Association underwrites the news show, and Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV.
If you have a news topic or tips you'd like to see covered, give us a call. The studio number is 677-4119.
Today's show is live on Wednesday at noon and rebroadcast at 3 and 6 p.m. and again re-aired on Saturday at noon, 3 and 6. We have a lot of information on the show for you today. It is May 31st, 2017, and now here's the news at noon. Reported in the Durango Herald, a section of the Animas River Trail was cordoned off for more than an hour Monday while police tried to subdue a woman armed with a handgun who was experiencing suicidal thoughts. The standoff started about 3:22 p.m. behind the Home Depot in South Durango. Police tried to communicate with the woman, but she was despondent and too close to the river to hear officers, said Commander Ray Shoup, spokesman for the Durango Police Department. We had trouble communicating with her because she was next to the river and it was loud, he said. She wasn't really respondent in two-way communications. Officers blocked off a section of the river trail and kept people away from the general area on both sides of the river, Shoup said. Police ended up using less lethal beanbag rounds and a taser to subdue the woman, remove her handgun, and take her into custody, he said. The standoff ended at 4:45 p.m. She was taken to Mercy Regional Medical and then to Access Health System to receive a mental health evaluation. The 42-year-old woman never pointed the gun at officers, and she was not charged with any crime, Shoup said. Luckily, she wasn't injured, and none of our guys were injured, so it ended the best it could be.
Reported by the Durango Herald, 1 in 4 Alzheimer's deaths in the United States are now occurring at home, a startling increase that marks a shift away from hospitals and nursing homes, according to a report released Thursday. Alzheimer's deaths in hospitals and nursing homes or other long-term care facilities shrank from more than 80% to 60% over 15 years. Meanwhile, those dying at home rose from 14% to 25%, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention found. Alzheimer's disease is a progressive brain disorder that impairs memory, judgment, and other mental abilities. It's most common in the elderly. In the final stages of the disease, people have trouble eating and carrying out on a conversation, are vulnerable to pneumonia and infections, and often need around-the-clock care. The Alzheimer's death rate has risen nearly 80% since 1999, and the disease is the nation's 6th leading cause of death. In the new report, the CDC analyzed death certificates from 1999 to 2014 and found a surprise, a shift in where people with Alzheimer's are dying. Experts said it's not clear why more people with Alzheimer's are dying at home than in hospitals or nursing homes. One possible explanation is patient preference. As baby boomers age, the numbers dying from Alzheimer's are just going to get worse, said Keith Fargo, Director of Scientific Programs for the Alzheimer's Association. The counties with the highest rates over 10 years were Tiny Eddy County in east central North Dakota and Hamlin County in eastern South Dakota. Several counties in the south were near the top of the list. It's not clear why. Doctors in some places might be better at diagnosing Alzheimer's, or coroners and medical examiners might more commonly put Alzheimer's on death certificates instead of other causes, said Christopher Taylor, a CDC epidemiologist who was the report's lead author.
According to the Cortez Journal, the Durango-La Plata County Airport is celebrating the return of seasonal nonstop Saturday service to Los Angeles International Airport by giving away a free weekend trip for 2 to LA. Airport staff will be accepting entries into the drawing on May 30th from 2 to 5:30 p.m. at the Durango Welcome Center. The prize package will include 2 round-trip tickets to LAX, a hotel room for 3 nights, and $200 for baggage fees and ground transportation. Non-stop Saturday flights to Los Angeles will resume June 3rd through August 19th, similar to what was offered last year by American Airlines. Service to Los Angeles started fairly slowly, but built throughout the summer, and so American Airlines was encouraged by it, said Tony Vicari, Director of Aviation for the Durango-La Plata County Airport. Every year, American Airlines runs test routes, and a certain percentage of those are dropped, but ours was successful enough to continue. A round-trip ticket departing June 3rd from Durango and returning June 10th from Los Angeles was being sold for $606 as of Tuesday, according to American Airlines' website. That price is more a reflection of a higher demand because we are close to that date. It's not reflective of the majority of pricing, Vicari said. If you look at flights in July or August, the site shows the airfare is well under $400. While the future of flights to LAX is uncertain, Vakari said there is a chance for year-round service to Los Angeles down the road. I can't speak for American Airlines, but in my conversations with them, they are encouraged by the possibilities of a permanent service, he said. This summer's numbers will be important to a viable future. This could continue as a seasonal service in the future, but eventually run more frequently until it is year-round.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, a sailboat mast tangled with power lines Tuesday afternoon, shutting off power to about 400 customers east of downtown Durango, a spokeswoman with the La Plata Electric Association said. Indiana Reed said a person was moving the boat on East 8th Avenue and didn't take into consideration the wires above them. Reed said no one was injured and no equipment was damaged in the incident. Power was out for about an hour, and customers may have experienced brief outages as crews continued to check power lines, she said. In an emailed statement, Justin Talbot, manager of operations, said LPEA has a number of overhead lines in this portion of town. Folks need to be aware as they do construction or move equipment, he said. This is a reminder of look up and live. It goes for construction, equipment, tree trimming, even installing holiday lights on tall trees or moving a sailboat. Please pay attention to the location of power lines. The driver was cited with careless driving. The Durango Police Department refused to identify the driver, and the driver declined to identify herself to a Herald reporter. The woman said she was on her way to register the trailer for the new boat and didn't realize the mast was raised.
From the Grand Junction Sentinel, Governor John Hickenlooper hasn't signed the bill yet, but there's already a citizen's effort to block it if he does. The measure, HB 1220, would limit to 16 the number of marijuana plants that can be grown on residential property, down from the current 99. As is allowed by law, a citizen's effort led by Denver attorney Robert Corey has started the process to place the measure before voters next fall. If that effort actually qualifies for the ballot, the measure won't go into effect until after voters weigh in on it. If it doesn't qualify for the ballot, it will become the law of the state on January 1st, 2018. The bill was controversial among the marijuana crowd, particularly for caregivers who grow numerous plants for medical marijuana patients. Under it, they would have to grow plants in areas other than residential. While the law allows citizens to challenge bills approved by the legislature and signed by the governor, challenges are rare, in part because there's little time to get the needed signatures to get such a measure onto the ballot. Just like regular citizens' initiatives, it takes 5% of the total of votes cast in the last Secretary of State's race, which currently is 98,492. Backers of the challenge only have about 2 months to get that many signatures.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, a financial audit of the town of Mancos revealed that the town is in solid financial shape. Auditor Chris Majors told town trustees at their meeting May 24th. Majors, of Cortez-based accounting firm Majors and Haley, completed the audit for the town's 2016 fiscal year. He said the town had not had any issues with overspending on budgeted items, and most expenditures were kept under budget. Sales tax revenue for the town has increased because of an improved economy, and marijuana license fees are also contributing to town revenue, Majors said. Board members voted unanimously to accept the audit. Trustee Michelle Black thanked Clerk Treasurer Heather Alvarez for her work on the budget. Also at the meeting, trustees voted to allocate extra Marshal's Office funds to a dispatch bill and new radar units for police vehicles. In 2015, the town allocated $10,000 from the Mancos Marshal's Office to the city of Cortez for a communications infrastructure construction project on Caviness Mountain, according to Mancos Marshal Jason Spruill. However, the city of Cortez was able to find other money and provide in-kind services for the project, so Cortez refunded the $10,000 to Mancos. The amount will be allocated to pay for a $5,794 dispatch bill, which was attributed to an increase in service calls and raises for dispatchers, according to Spruill. Part of the refund also will be used to pay for new radar units in 2 Marshals Department vehicles. The 2 units will cost $2,825. Also at the meeting, the board unanimously voted to renew the liquor license for Columbine Bar, 123 Grand Avenue. And now here's our weather report.
There's a very slight increase in the moisture in the incoming trough. That may increase showers and thunderstorms on the highest elevations today and tonight, but not by much. National Weather Service has quite low hope for any lower valley moisture here in DCTV country, but the clouds will be noticed. The online 7-day shows 20% chances today and 30 tonight, through the day tomorrow, and 40% tomorrow night. Tomorrow's precipitable moisture is also faintly higher than today's. All that being said, dirty spatters on the glass from scattered storms is likely going to be the rest of the story. Even the highest elevations will see very little, and that's where the chances are best. If you're at work in the field, it is not likely this will stop your work. In the interest of safety, remember, dry lightning, dry fuels with gusting winds are often the cause of wildfires in our area, so keep an eye out for those. Friday and through the weekend will be clear and dry and warm up further into the mid-80s. A cold front, as represented by that line on the east end of the Great Lakes, will enter the northeast this afternoon. Ahead of it, showers and thunderstorms are expected. Some may be severe. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are also possible further south into the Appalachians and mid-Atlantic ahead of the front. Tomorrow, drier and cooler conditions will prevail across the mid-Atlantic and northeast as that front moves offshore. On the backside of that front in the central plains today, showers and thunderstorms in Kansas and Missouri and the middle Mississippi Valley area are likely, and some there could also be severe. South from there, another weakening stationary front will still provide scattered showers and thunderstorms today and Thursday from Texas to the southeast, with locally heavy rains possible. A ridge along the west coast the past few days will push into our area by Friday. The above average temperatures experienced in the northwest the past few days will shift east to the northern Great Basin and northern Rockies beginning today. Temperatures are expected to rise well into the 80s and near 90 for many of those areas. These temperatures are 10 to 20 degrees above average. By Thursday, these temperatures will continue the eastward migration, reaching the northern high plains. In the Pacific Northwest, an upper-level trough will result in cooler temperatures today, and the arrival of that Pacific cold front tonight will cool temperatures further to near or slightly below normal. With it, the potential for a few showers and thunderstorms later in Thursday. I say again, is your air conditioner ready? Our highs will climb from mid-70s to mid-80s over the next 5 days. Lows will only vary a few degrees in comparison and run from the upper 40s to 51 and 53 degrees over the weekend and into Monday night. Some cloudiness increasing today and through Thursday night, gusty winds as they move over, but in general in the 5 to 10 mile per hour range. Typical La Nina early June coming right at us. And now back to the news.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, while the aspen market has been strong locally, there is an increase in demand for spruce and fir, said forester David Casey. It is the first green spruce sale since the 90s, he said. Spruce is something we are getting back into to test the market. The market is being driven in part by demand from the Montrose Forest Products Mill, which makes pre-cut lumber. The mill recently changed hands and switched its focus to spruce and fir from lodgepole and ponderosa pine. The logging sale is also part of a forest effort to control a budworm infestation that has taken hold in the Taylor Mesa and Stona Mesa areas, Casey said. The insect is heavily defoliating the overstory, but now it has moved to the understory, and that threatens regeneration, Casey said. Forest visitors often encounter the native budworm as the wiggly larvae creature descending from trees on a thread of silk. It later transforms into a moth. When their population is too large, budworms weaken the adult spruce and attack younger trees. They make the stand susceptible to other bug infestations, such as the spruce bark beetle, which is causing havoc in forests around Pagosa Springs and Wolf Creek Pass. In 2016, the budworm defoliated 226,000 acres, mostly in the San Juan and Rio Grande forests.
Scientists do not just deliver bad news, researchers don't just come up with useless trivia, and inventors don't just make up new plastic trash. In fact, a great many of these folks want to make their fortune by making our world a better place. The world's largest floating power plant is an example of taking lemons and making lemonade. A 40 megawatt plant of floating photovoltaic cells in Huainan, China certainly sounds good. Just barely online, this new system is a nice bit of news, located in an area that was previously the location of coal mining operations, where the water there is now mineralized and mostly useless. The lake itself was only formed after years of mining operations. Surrounding land collapsed and created a cavity that was filled with rainwater. Floating solar plants are advantageous there because they put otherwise useless water and land to good use. The water naturally cools the system and the ambient temperatures. This improves generation and limits long-term damage from heat, and it doesn't take up space in densely populated regions. Currently, China has more than 100 cities with populations of at least 1 million people each. Finally, the floating photovoltaic arrays are customized to work efficiently despite higher humidity levels, and they also prevent the evaporation of a lot of fresh water. After a little real-world testing for the unanticipated, we'll see how the system holds up. A few weeks ago, we shared information on Lake Powell and its evaporation and leak problems. Just maybe we should float some PV cells there. I wonder if the Great Salt Lake and some other places here in our country could benefit from such a plan. Why not make a good idea our practice here too? Better planning and action are somewhat more useful than the ostrich approach. Remember the bird that sometimes buries its head in the sand at the approach of some of the things it fears?
Reported by the Cortez Journal, where you live has a lot to do with the price of the water that comes out of your kitchen faucet, but odds are it's getting more expensive. A recent survey of household water use shows an upward trend in price and surprising patterns for Westerners. In its nationwide survey of 30 cities, the nonprofit journalism network Circle of Blue found Santa Fe's residential water the most expensive in 2017. There, approximately 12,000 gallons at the top of the range the USGS estimates 4 people might use in a month costs $154. The same volume costs just $31 in Salt Lake City, where water was cheapest in the 12 western cities surveyed. Still, comparing the price of a fixed volume of water rather than the size of a typical bill can reveal broad trends. Among them, prices have risen in every western city surveyed since 2010, even as conservation and efficiency have driven per capita water use down. While costs are up overall, some cities have seen dramatic spikes. In San Francisco, for instance, rates more than doubled over the past 7 years. The hikes reflect the ongoing expense of replacing and repairing aging pipes or building new infrastructure. Salt Lake City Public Utilities, for example, is proposing rate increases over the next several years in part to fund water treatment plant upgrades, Briefer says. Paradoxically, some higher prices reflect the cost of conserving water. When customers use less water, utilities make less money. They can fill that deficit by boosting rates, a strategy some water agencies are employing in California.
From the Cortez Journal, nothing kicks off summer vacation better than a free raft trip down the lower Dolores River. About a dozen kids from Montezuma and Dolores counties got to experience that adventure thanks to a partnership between the Pinion Project, Dolores River Boating Advocates, and the Onward Foundation. The May 20th trip down Ponderosa Gorge was organized for youth ages 9 to 17 in the Pinion Project mentoring program, and for many of them, it was a first. Rafting and whitewater rapids was a new experience for them, and they are still talking about how fun it was, said Lauren Lecouxier, case manager for the mentoring program. Most of the kids on the trip are still wanting to be paired with a mentor. Mile to Wild rafting gave the group a discount rate, and it was paid for thanks to a grant from the Onward Foundation. The goal was to introduce kids to the thrill of rafting and show off the natural wonders of a river in their own backyard, said Amber Clark, program coordinator for the Dolores River Boating Advocates. They learned about the river, where it goes, and the different ways it serves the community, Clark said. Some of them said they want to be a river guide now because you get paid to have fun. The day-long excursion coincided with Colorado's first Public Lands Day. A guided boating trip down the lower Dolores was extra special, LaCoussiere said, because a run depends on a water release from McPhee Reservoir upstream. Plus, it was an opportunity for kids to experience an outdoor activity that is often inaccessible for families because of the expense of the boating gear and required river skills. It was something they otherwise may not have had a chance to do, LaCoussiere said. They connected with nature and sharing a different experience together created a bond between the kids, forming positive new relationships. The organizations hope to make the youth raft trip an annual tradition. For more information on the Pinion Project mentoring program, check out their webpage.
And now for the Dolores County Sheriff's Roundup for the week of May 22nd through the 28th. Multiple reports were taken of an internet scam telephone call from callers claiming they were from Microsoft and reporting to the resident that they have a virus on their computer. These are scam calls and highly dangerous as they request access to your computer, which may lead to financial exploitation and identity theft. Microsoft will never call to notify you of a virus on your computer. Remember to never allow anyone you do not know to have access to your computer. An officer arrested a man on felony charges of contributing to the delinquency of a minor, felony menacing, sale, transfer, dispensing marijuana, and menacing. One pair of prescription eyeglasses were found in front of the courthouse. Please call the sheriff's office to claim them. That's it for this week's roundup. Stay tuned for continuing updates.
Today's High Canyon Country happenings. All day Saturday, June 3rd, the 2017 Animas River Days is held in Durango. The day begins with whitewater slalom and continues with boater cross, surf competitions, raft sprint, freestyle rodeo, and more. Parade viewing party starts at 6 p.m. with a Riverside DJ set by Posh Josh. Scob Beer Garden and Toast Mobile Lounge will be open at noon. Food is served all day. The 10th and final Tear It Up for Tyler Memorial Skate Competition is also this Saturday, June 3rd in Durango. This event was started in memory of Tyler Valencia, an avid skateboarder who died in October of 2006, just months before the new skate park opened. Tyler and his friends lobbied for the expansion of the skate park and were successful. The family of Tyler has hosted this event since its inception with help from the boarding house and the Durango City of Parks and Rec, along with many other generous sponsors through the years. This event provides a clean, safe, positive environment for the skaters to compete at a very low cost. This event is just as fun to watch as it is to participate in. They ask you to join them. The entrance fee is $10. And Sunday, June 4th, with 3 rings of affordable family fun, the Jordan World Circus will thrill fans of all ages. Come see the death-defying aerial acts, animal attractions, including tigers and elephants. In addition to the performing acts, kids will have the opportunity to ride and pet different types of animals. It's held in Cortez at the Montezuma County Fairgrounds, Sunday at 5 p.m. Tickets are $18 for adults, $14 for children, or a $40 family pack option. Doors open 1 hour before the show. And all of these happenings are posted up on our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, along with the YouTube replays, weather and original stories, and local posts. To share your event or information, contact us. It's dcbnnews@gmail.com or call us at the station 677-4119 and we'll be sure to get your news on air.
Thanks for tuning in. The News at Noon airs live at noon Monday through Wednesday, then rebroadcasts at 3 and 6 p.m. and again re-aired Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in the same order at noon, 3, and 6.
And again, be sure to check us out on DCTV News at Noon on Facebook. Please like us there and share it with a friend.
For Kendra Cook, Jerry Tope, and everyone at DCTV with the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.